Hey guys, what's up? This is James Ferrantino, and today I'm going to make a tutorial about how to beef up a very basic synth. You can use these tips and tricks on all of your synths, that are leads at least, and hope you take something from this video. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play what I have here. I basically made this little snippet of a song just for the sake of this tutorial, so bear with it, and let's hear it. Alright, as you can see, it's very boring, and let's spice it up. So let me tell you what I have here. I have a kick, a snare, closed hi-hat, and the synths that I'm using here is I'm using all ES2s. That's a Logic basic synth. And let's dive into it. This is a sub, and this is the lead. And for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to focus on this lead synth here, which I will play soloed. Alright, so let's begin by beefing it up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a room reverb to it, so it sounds like this very dry, dull synth is being played in an actual room and that it's being recorded. So in bus 1, I'm going to open up a room reverb. For the reverbs, I like to use the Reverb, and I like to keep what comes up automatically, just a basic room. And I'm going to dial that in so you can hear what it sounds like. Now with a room reverb, you don't want to put too much in there because you just want to keep like a very subtle, like little echo of a room. Again, you're trying to emulate that it's being recorded. So here it is. Alright, with this, less is definitely more. And then another thing that I like to do just to add to the stereo width and it adds a little more interest and more listenable, so I'm going to add a little bit of chorus to this. So in bus 2, I'm going to open up a chorus. That's under modulation, chorus, just a standard chorus. We can mess with this a little bit. Then after the chorus, I like to put in an EQ to take out any like bass that could be coming through. This way, when you get to later in your mix and your master, you don't want any sub frequencies interfering with any of the subs that are in your basses, which is very important later on. So I'll get rid of that. Keep this up for now if I want to tweak it. And then let's hear what we have. Alright, so you hear it. What we have here is now this synth is starting to get a little more wide, and it has a little more of like, it just has more interest to it in the left and right speakers. So let's hear it again. Alright, sounds pretty cool. Now let me play it. I'll mute it and unmute it so you can see the difference. Very dry. A little more wide. So there we have it with this. And now I'm going to actually go back to this, and I want to put the EQ now that I mentioned it. Take out some bass frequencies. We want nothing to mess with the subs. We want it to be nice and tight. So here we go. Alright, so now I want to add like a larger reverb. I'm going to add a larger reverb here. I'm going to also use the Reverb. I want to, let's see what we got here. Smooth space usually sounds pretty good. I'm going to keep this up because I might want to change the density and the size, etc. Let me put another EQ on here. Boom, take out those subs. We don't want nothing messing with this one. See, it's nice, but the space, the size sounds really small. There we go. Again, we don't want too much. We're just trying to fill up the empty spaces. That gives the illusion of it being like more beefy. Alright, so it's starting to sound a little better now. All right, and another trick that you should be doing is you should be labeling these buses, but just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm not doing that. I should have, but oh well. So now, another thing that I'm going to do here is I want to add a little bit of delay. Delay is good because you can use it and it doesn't muddle up your mix too much compared to reverb, because reverb is like putting a blanket on the synth. It's literally covering the synth. A delay kind of just percussively complements the synth. It's kind of different. Anyway, let's get the delay on. Let me look for it. Delay. Can I read? Here it is, stereo delay. Stereo delays are very good to use because it like tickles your left and right ears, which is very good. Beef it up. Another trick you can do too is with the EQ, you can boost little parts of the delay that you kind of want to complement. Sometimes you want to go up in the higher frequencies to get more of that percussive, like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, you can cut out a lot more of this because you don't want it to interfere with the actual synth playing. See what we have here? We cut out a lot of the synth that's coming through the delay. So this way you just have the higher frequencies percussively hitting your ears. So let's hear it. All right, we're filling the space up a little bit. And a reason why it looks crazy that I'm using all these buses, but the benefit of using these buses is that later when you start building up the song more and more and more, when you have a lot more layers and a lot more synths, you can reuse these buses to use less CPU. This way you're putting all these sounds through these processors. And that's very good to do because you don't want to put like this delay on every single track. Then before you know it, you press the spacebar and then it doesn't play and you're like, oh, jeez. So this is a good way to get a little more CPU usage out of your computer. That's a good tip. All right. So another thing you can do here in a bus is make like a distortion bus, bus 5. This can definitely beef up this one. With this, you can even use a bit crusher. You can use a distortion. For this sake, I'm just gonna use a little bit of a distortion, but this is a good tip to like it just adds a little more craziness, whatever you want to say. But let's do it. You hear how it's getting a little more muffled? That's the distortion kicking in. And then with the distortion, this is a very important thing that you definitely want to take out the subs out of the distortion. Because the distortion I'm blanking on the word, but it just adds more, it fizzles the bass too, you know, so it adds more sub frequency there too. So you want to take that out. I'll show you in the analyzer. See here how you're getting some like subs and low ends? Definitely want to take that out. Alright, so let's add some drive and let's mess with this and see how it goes. Maybe lower the output first so you don't blow out your ears. See here we have like this nice distortion sound, and it is making it sound definitely more beefy. So watch, I'm going to roll it in. Let me mute it while I play it. See what we did there? We definitely added just more sound to that synth. More excitement. And another trick you do, you can also even add a little bit of compression in here, make it sound a little more flat, or you can even add a reverb to this track. But I'm just going to keep it with that distortion because it definitely sounds a little more louder and a little more bright. Alright, so that definitely is starting to sound a lot better than what it used to sound like. Another thing you could do here is you can add a compressor here, which is what I will do. Just going to add this compressor. And I just happen to open it, and it sounds already like it's in a good spot. And how you could tell, this is how I tell if it's in a good spot, is the threshold here. I basically want this needle to be pumping back to 0 at some points, because you don't want this to be just completely lifted away from 0, or that means the compressor, for me, is working much too hard and you're losing a lot of dynamics because it is constantly reducing the audio. And I like to have more of a pump and a sway to it. So watch, I'm going to play it. Yeah, and I like where it is. It's going near -5 and it's still going back to 0, so you're not taking too much out, which is a good sign. So I'm just going to I got lucky. I'm going to keep that the way it is, because I'll show you what happens when you get the threshold too low. See, you don't want that. Notice how the sound has like no dynamics. It's very flat and boring sounding. It just sounds like noise at that point. So I'm going to put it back to around 20. And there we have it. It's starting to sound a lot better. So this is just a basic tutorial or a how-to video. So I'm just going to kind of keep it as to there. And if you would like, I will play it without the buses and with the buses, just so you can hear the difference, the before and after. Here's it now. And here's it without the buses. Let me just mute that real quick, and without the compressor. As you can see, it's very dry and lifeless almost. Alright, so there we have it. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you took something from this video. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to support me making these little videos. And thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. I appreciate it. Bye.